Looking around online, it's easy to get the wrong impression about the Joker and Harley Quinn. With all the fan art, t-shirts, and his and hers merchandise of the two of them, you'd be forgiven for thinking that they're one of the most romantic couples in the DC universe. No. 1,000 times no. The whole point of their relationship that people seem to be missing is that it's a toxic and abusive one. Joker is a cruel and sadistic monster who only keeps Harley around as a punching bag for when his plans against the Bat fall apart. Sure, she loves him, but she's completely unhinged and she can't help herself despite the fact that some of Mr. J's lowlights have occasionally made for some pretty uncomfortable viewing. With this in mind, I'm Jules, your Southwest Savage for WhatCulture.com, and this is the 10 worst things the Joker has ever done to Harley Quinn. Number 10. He didn't notice when she left for a year. Tying into the video game, the Injustice comic series examines the beginnings of Superman's descent into villainy when the Joker tricks him into killing Lois, their unborn child, and ultimately the clown prince of crime himself. His death hit Harley pretty hard, and a lot of the series focuses on her trying to move on. It also highlighted just how messed up their relationship was. In one heartbreaking scene, Harley confessed to a pregnant Black Canary that she had a daughter. Thankfully, even Harley knew what kind of father Joker would be, and so as soon as she found out she was pregnant, she left him for a year to have the baby in secret. When she came back, Joker hadn't even noticed she'd left. It's brutally harsh, but that sort of emotional neglect is day to day for Mr. J. Number 9. He dumped her in chemicals. Traditionally, Harleen Quinzel's transformation into Harley Quinn was her choice and only consisted of a checkered jumpsuit and some white face paint. She looked the part, but it was never permanent. However, in the new 52, that completely changed. She was still a psychologist who fell in love with the Joker, but instead of choosing to become his sidekick, Joker decided that he needed something to prove her complete commitment to him and turned her into Harley Quinn by throwing her into the same vat of chemicals that he himself had fallen in. The chemicals bleached her skin and hair, and even when she broke away from the Joker, it meant that she could never truly get away from what he did to her. You're welcome, I guess. Number 8. He pushed her out of a window. In iconic Batman animated episode Mad Love, Harley tried to prove herself to the Joker and give him the surprise gift of killing Batman for him. She actually nearly succeeded, but the Joker felt threatened and thwarted the plan himself. Realizing what was about to happen, Harley grabbed a swordfish to defend herself with, as you do, but the Joker simply grabbed it from her and used it as a club to knock her out of a window. There was a pile of rubbish below that broke her fall, but Harley was still badly injured. Plus, it would be generous to assume that Joker put any thought into what was going to happen once he sent her through that window. Number 7. He tortured her for being too independent. The new 52 also boldly killed off the Joker early on. Without her pudding, a distraught Harley Quinn was drafted into the Suicide Squad, where she found a new reason to live, found romance, and became independent for the first time. Unfortunately for her, the Joker survived, and he didn't like how Harley was now thinking for herself and decided that she needed an, air quote, refresher course. After threatening to kill her teammates, Joker convinced Harley to come with him. He then put her through a brutal regime of torture, beating and cutting her, hanging her half to death with a chain, and even setting Harley's now rabid hyenas on her. When all of this failed, Joker dragged her into a cellar and chained her to a wall. He then showed her the rest of the dungeon, which was filled with corpses of his other Harleys, all wearing the same outfit as her. Number 6. He planned to kill her in front of Batman. At the time of Batman number 663, Joker was in a pretty bad place. He'd recently been shot in the face by a Batman imposter and was trapped inside Arkham Asylum. At that point, he decided to up his game and restyle himself as a crime god, starting by wiping away all the traces of his old life. He sent Harley to deliver poisoned red and black flowers to all his old henchmen, before she lured Batman to Arkham Asylum, seemingly for a final showdown with the Joker. However, once Batman arrived, he revealed that he was really trying to save Harley. He pointed out the red and black flowers as evidence that the Joker's punchline was actually to kill her in front of his arch-enemy. Harley didn't believe him, but Batman was proven right when the Joker held a razor against her throat. She managed to escape though and even turned against the Joker, shooting him in the shoulder to incapacitate him. Number 5. He tried to cut off her face. While the Joker has never been even remotely sane, the new 52 turned him into a complete psychopath. Joker deliberately got himself thrown into Arkham Asylum so that he could meet the dollmaker who he convinced to carve off his face before trying to destroy the Bat family. He, of course, brought Harley Quinn along for the ride, but not before he decided that her face needed to match his own. Harley resisted at first, as you would, but soon gave in to her lover's demands. The saddest part is that her main concern was the Joker wouldn't find her attractive anymore. Thankfully, he didn't actually go through with it, with Harley's display of devotion being just enough for him. Number 4. He locked her in a rocket. One of Harley's dreams in life is for the Joker to confess that he really loves her. In one of her earlier appearances, he actually did. Unfortunately, those kinds of emotions were distracting and Joker hated feeling them. So he lured her to an abandoned rocket, locked her inside and dumped her by firing her into outer space. Harley was able to take control of the ship though and crash it into Robinson Park, where she met her best friend and eventual lover, Poison Ivy, so it wasn't all that bad. Number 3. He turned her into a constellation. The Joker is one of the most formidable villains in the world despite not having any powers, so just imagine how bad things would be if he were a god. In the Emperor Joker arc, Mr. Mxyzptlk decided to grant the Joker 1% of his power. However, the Harlequin of Hate tricked him and ended up with 99% instead. Joker used his near omnipotence to create a twisted version of the world, in which Bizarro led the Justice League, Superman was locked in Arkham Asylum for murdering Lex Luthor, and he kept killing and resurrecting Batman to enjoy killing him again. He also ate China. Seriously. Towards the end of his reign, he also rewarded all of Harley's years of service by killing her and transforming her into a constellation. In his own words, she was getting the best seat in the house. Number 2. He trapped her in an abusive cycle. The Joker's continued abuse of Harley Quinn is bad enough, but what makes it even worse are the tiny moments of kindness he shows her, like carrots dangled in front of her to keep her coming back. For instance, throughout Mad Love, Joker violently refuses Harley's advances. All her attempts to seduce him are met with either verbal or physical abuse, culminating in him throwing her to the hyenas when she covers herself in pudding, because, you know, pudding. After her fall, Harley woke up in hospital and completely renounced the Joker, deciding that she was gonna leave him as soon as she healed. Unfortunately, she then turned her head to see a bouquet of flowers and a get well soon card from the Joker, ensuring that she would go running right back into his arms. And number 1, he seduced her. Whilst the Joker may be insane, he isn't stupid. He has a deviously sharp mind and an expert understanding of psychology, which helped him to manipulate Harley into falling in love with him. In Arkham, he turned the promising psychiatrist who took an interest in him into his plaything, using classic psychological triggers like an abusive father to lure Quinzel into thinking that she could fix him. Then he played on her insecurities of her lonely and dull life to seduce her as a man who could make you laugh again. From there, he used her to escape the asylum multiple times before eventually convincing her to join him as his sidekick, despite seeing her as nothing more than another punchline. And that's our list. Got any other things that the Joker did to Harley that was absolutely horrible? Well, let us know about them in the comments section below. And why not swing by whatculture.com for more news and daily articles just like this every goddamn day. As always, I've been Jules for What Culture. You can follow me here on Twitter at RetroJ with a 0, and I will speak to you soon.